in retrospect, we need to understand the condition of the work. It means that first we need to sort of refute the thought or even the demand of a person coming into the work that it's going to be, even if it's not conscious, it's going to be on my terms. It's going to be in the way I understand things, in the way that I sort of strive and struggle to attain and to get things, to be the and to have spirituality as my property. Okay. And this is basically in maybe in a more sophisticated or concealed way. This is the way people think when they approach uh, uh, the study of Kabbalah as a whole. So when we go into um, sort of what you've read, it's actually reading the conditions. And the conditions are already stated in the Torah, saying that love the other is actually a purpose that is against my nature. I mean, it against the nature in which I was created as a will to receive, and definitely a will to receive to oneself. And if I wish actually to allow the purpose of creation to be a partner of it, I need to accept, surrender to the condition that will allow it. And the first condition is the place. The place where, uh, where the Creator, God, chose to reveal Himself. And the place is the common body of all spirits, not in a person. Meaning, in the place where there is a spiritual consciousness of being one body, with different function, with different missions, with different even characters, but it's one screen, meaning it's one body, and it's called divinity, or in Hebrew, Shkhinah. This is the only place that the Creator is willing to appear, willing to reveal Himself. Okay, so it suggests that every time that if you think about the whole, from the beginning, meaning from the first go, meaning the first screen that light appeared upon it, when it says, "Let it be light," and there was light, till the last most remoted point, which is our world, all creation, with all its world, yeah, actually is the will to receive to oneself. So if human consciousness actually is the part or the body or the consciousness that reveals it, it means that it need to go throughout the whole of that space of creation in each one, and definitely as humanity. Is it clear what I'm saying now? Okay.
I'm following.
So, so it means that this is what it need to the will to receive its appearance, its the revelation of its thickness, the revelation of its vitality, the revelation of all those parts who did not come into partnership with the light, will reveal themselves not in one go. They will reveal themselves according to our ability to deal with them. And our ability to deal with them will be according to our recognition of our need and dependency on the higher, meaning on our spirit. So it's always sort of, as it starts here, in this portion, the whole idea of Israel starts with a fight, with a struggle. It's almost the most intimate struggle you can say, because it's body to body. It's almost feeling that in order to be able to actually sense the will to receive to oneself, Yaakov, as, as sort of a description of the right, of grace, need to physically, I'll stop in a minute and I'll explain why. Physically, sort of have a almost within a very particular arena, struggle with a different entity. And the entity is not outside of himself. Okay? The entity is within, and that entity needs to actually submit to his to him being firstborn, or to the blessing, meaning to the fact that he's going to lead humanity till the end of Reformation. So you can say that in every struggle within us, inside the work, there is this inner war, inner struggle of who is going to get sovereignty, who is going to lead. Okay? So this is, and then it needs to be confirmed from outside, confirmed from the higher, because Yaakov is being called Israel twice in this portion. Okay, once by, you can say, by the inner forces that reveal themselves in him, and by the outer authority, which is confirming his identity, his possible identity as Israel. And this is by the Creator. So when we ask something, we need to sort of. This is why we're saying that praying is actually putting oneself into trial. So when I'm bringing myself, I'm asking, am I fulfilling the condition? And the condition is, do I ask for myself, or do I ask for myself in relation to the mission and the function that I need to serve? So who is the judge now that sits uh, on this seat, the inner seat of myself, is called the third line. Third line has many names, but we need to see that it's a line. It means that it's a point in process. A line is a point in process. It becomes sort of, yeah, within movement. So it's as well the identity of Israel, the identity of God, and the identity of Torah. They become one. So we move through it every time. And in order to be able to read, or to be able to listen, we need to serve the body. So if I'm not serving the body, I'm not able to actually get any response from the higher. So where I can sort of sense something from the higher is according to the strength of service and connection that I have for the body of spirit, for divinity. So in order to sort of internalize it, every time that something actually happens, and there is a rise of this matter, which we call the will to receive, its conscious, its desire, its power, we need to reconsider how to actually tame it, how to actually bring it into the arena of the struggle, the arena of that will actually recruit it into service. So it is happening all the time, but it's every time it's a different layer. So it feels endless, but it feels endless because uh, our existence is so final. But for our spirit, it's in its nature. So our spirit does not feel it that it never ends. Our spirit feels it as its duty, its language, its life, its identity. So there are different. They are struggling as well. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. So what I retain is that it's actually it's not that I have posed the wrong question, but it's rather than asking whether the addressee should be the creator himself or the group, I should rather internally look at myself, as you were mentioning, this putting myself on trial and see which parts
Yeah. So
that, yeah,
uh, internally, we need to put ourselves into trial and say, is the request for service, or is it a request in order to possess, um, I would say, uh, spiritual property?
right, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not a simple test for honesty,
Mm.
because we would like to say, yeah, of course, for service. Okay.
But it's easier to do if well, it depends how big of an ego one person has, but I think it's easier to do with oneself, recognizing the shortcoming with
Hmm.
oneself,
Yeah.
because then it's only you and your relationship with your creator, and you can allow yourself to be honest. I,
I I think this is why mm, you cannot be honest unless you actually pass the trial of other human being.
mm,
This is actually what this work is saying. That
mm,
first you have to pass the test of how you see others.
mm, right.
Yeah. This is this is the condition of help from above. Okay. So because otherwise there's no demand upon us. Because each one of us can imagine um, that he's, the only one that God is communicating with. It's called Jerusalem syndrome.
And that brings us back to the central mitzvah of loving thy
Yeah.
friend as thyself.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm,
So it suggests that this is actually that humanity is actually for look, the book of Bereshit starts very quickly on, I think portion, um, I think part three or something like this. We get to the first murder. So it's the first struggle. It's not by accident that the first struggle is a war between brothers. It means that every war is with your brother, because the root of all wars are war of brothers, meaning of the same genetics, spiritual genetics. So i- if we speak about reforming, we speak about first reforming that. Because if we reform that, then we gain entry into wisdom, which is called Garden of Eden. So why actually it's the first thing that happens when we are deported from being with him? Because we failed the first trial, and the first trial is fraternity. So everything, this is what Torah is saying. The reformation of the whole is passing this test. Okay. So a group is actually a laboratory, sort of um, earthing ourselves into that test. We would like to do we would like to do every other religious test, but not this. But this is the core of Reformation.